Hello everyone. When I was asked if I can prepare a session on screencasting, I thought, yes, I can, but there are so many very good tutorials available. Each screencasting tool provides their own instructional videos on how to capture the screen, whether it is a still image or recording in real time. So why would my colleagues want to know more about screencasting? And the answer is simple here, just because they started thinking about flipping the classes. And flipped classroom is something really worth talking about in more detail, because as part of a broader concept such as blended or hybrid learning, it changes every aspect of education, especially the way teachers teach and learners learn. And screencasting is only a part of it. So I'll be talking about flipped classroom, and this presentation will cover 6 areas: the definition, the advantages, potential challenges, different tools for flipping and different ways to flip your classroom, with a special focus on screencasting. And I hope that this session will boost your interest and that you will want to dig a little bit deeper and explore any concept, flipped classroom or blended learning or blend spaces, whatever you wish. But there are plenty of resources online and plenty of tools, and some with the names you would have thought you would never remember. Padlet, Poplet, Screencastify, Screenomatic, Loom, Zoom, you name it. You might be overwhelmed and totally lost and think, no, I can't really bother anymore. So I decided to prepare a Padlet with some really good and very useful links and suggestions for you to start with, and then you can take it from there. And I thought it would be a good idea to record each area in different screencasting program to show you their different features and to let you find the one that looks the most appealing to you. You will see the differences and you will hear the differences in the quality of the recording. And each section will have kind of 2 layers. One, it will be just a few words about the screencasting tool, and the second will relate directly to the concept of flipped classroom. So let's get started. For the first and the final parts of the presentation, I used a program called Camtasia, which is a software suite recording videos, but also through a lot of different applications, allowing you to combine images, audio files with videos. The overall design of Camtasia might look a little bit intimidating, but it's actually relatively straightforward and doesn't require any advanced editing skills. So if you want to publicize your videos or if you want to make them more professional, this is definitely a program to go for. You'll have to pay a one-off payment and then pay for the updates if you are interested in having an up-to-date version. So let's talk about what is flipped classroom. Let's watch together a short video.
This is a classroom. The teacher stands at the front, and the students watch and listen. You'll recognize this because it's probably how you were taught, and how your parents were taught before you. But there are a lot of problems with this approach to teaching. You see, not all students learn at the same speed, so some get left behind. And while some students learn better by listening, others may learn better by doing. This means that teachers can't always do the best job they can. But there is another way. The flipped classroom addresses these problems and makes learning more personal. First, the teacher makes a video that delivers the content they'd usually teach in class. Then they share it online with students who can watch it before the next lesson. This leaves the teacher free to spend class time leading activities that help students apply the knowledge. Students can rewind and re-watch a video as many times as they like and come back to class with questions for the teacher. So keeping up with the class is no longer an issue. Students can access the video at any time using mobile devices, giving them the ability to learn more independently. Instead of sitting and listening, students can spend class time applying knowledge in more practical ways. And teachers are free to spend their time working with students and giving them individual support and attention. The flipped classroom model is already making a difference to students and teachers worldwide, so get involved. Discover more at flippedinstitute.org and become part of the movement.
There are a lot of misconceptions around this topic. Some people confuse flipped classroom with a flipped learning concept. Flipped classroom is more of an instructional strategy which leads to flipped learning, a broader concept, more of a pedagogical approach. And some people think that flipped classroom is only about watching videos recorded by teachers. It's not. The students can listen to podcasts, they can read articles, they can do projects or carry out their own research at home. The concept goes back to 1990 when a Harvard physicist, Eric Mazur, developed a concept of peer instructions. As you see in the model, first question is posed by a lecturer and students reflect on it by reading and doing research. Then they come up with their own individual answers, which are reviewed by the lecturer. In the next step, students discuss their decision-making process with other students and modify the answers. And finally, these answers are reviewed by the lecturer and he decides if the topic needs more explanation or if the next topic can be started. And I believe you've all heard about Khan Academy, founded in 2003 by Salman Khan, who was tutoring his cousin in mathematics over the internet and started to record videos for him. And now, apart from maths, you can find the resources covering areas such as history, biology, computing, but also English grammar or storytelling. But it was Bergman and Sams, two chemistry teachers from Woodland Park High School in Colorado, who became the founding fathers of the concept of this inverted or flipped model. In 2007, they decided to record videos to improve their face-to-face communication with their students. And if you have a moment, I would recommend watching this short video in which John Bergman is explaining what a flipped classroom is, why it can be so powerful, and how to get started. Let's move on now to the advantages of a flipped classroom. And to record this part of the presentation, I used a Chrome extension called Nimbus. Nimbus is not very different from other programs, but what I really like about it is its simplicity. You can see that the interface is really uncomplicated and very, very simple. You can capture the screen, the whole screen or its fragment. You can capture the screen even if you are scrolling it up or down. And while recording, you can use, you can embed a camera. You can use a selection of drawing tools, which makes this tool really fantastic if you want to provide video feedback. So let's have a look what we can do in this program. We can use one of the tools from the bottom menu. We can use a pen and draw. unmark certain parts of the text, you can use arrows in different colors as pointers. There's also this nice rectangular tool, and there are 3 different types of mouse cursor. I like this pulsing one, it's quite nice. And also the stamp, so if you like something you can put a tick. There's one with an exclamation mark if you don't like something, or if you need more explanation you can use this question mark. There are numerous benefits of a flipped classroom, but I decided to talk about 5 which I find the most important. And the first one is more personal learning. We are all different. We learn at a different pace. We learn in different ways. We have our own learning preferences. Sometimes our personality attributes make the whole process of learning either easier or more challenging. And in a one-size-fits-all model of education, some of us will obviously become bored, some will feel left behind, and some will become frustrated. In a flipped classroom model, autonomy is boosted because students learn more independently. Then they engage more in the process of learning, making their own decision. And as a result, they take ownership of their learning. And there is more individualization and personalization of learning. And if we invite them to become partners, there is this very popular concept now of students as partners. They are not consumers of knowledge anymore. The next advantage is class time. Class time is used more efficiently for applying knowledge in a more practical way. And obviously, as a result, teachers can spend more time with those who really need more assistance. And the next one is the diversity. So the learning is definitely richer and more diverse. And it's not only about technology used or different formats of the content, video, text, podcast, charts, diagrams, infographics, etc. Instead of just one way of looking at this content, students, through the use of different media, learn how to see the content in many different ways and from many different perspectives. And thanks to the technology, teachers can use numerous authentic materials or materials appropriate for different racial, cultural, ethnic, and gender groups, which complies with the principles of culturally sustaining pedagogy and social justice in education. Another 2 concepts which are really, really kind of buzz words these days. Assignments and assessments might be used beyond the classroom, and as a result, they become more sustainable, more renewable. And the next advantage is the accessibility provided by a flipped model. So students have, basically speaking, 24/7 access to the content via a range of tools. And they can learn whenever and wherever they want or can. Additionally, absences are less of a problem as students can work independently from home. Plus, thanks to assistive technology, teachers can make the content as accessible as possible by creating, for example, accessible videos with captions, by using various formats of documents, or, for example, text-to-speech TTS tools. And finally, it all leads to lifelong learning. So by engaging in the process more, by learning independently, by taking ownership of their learning, by pacing themselves by setting the goals. Learners develop study skills, preparing themselves for lifelong learning. So, if there are so many advantages of a flipped classroom, why do many teachers feel so reluctant to start flipping the classes? It's probably because they are not familiar with this relatively new approach, and they might worry about the lack of appropriate skills or about the workload. But the solution is simple. Just watch a few tutorials and get some training. And as for the workload, start small. Record a short announcement, for example, a welcome message. Before we take a closer look at the potential challenges, I would like to say some words about the tool. The tool is called Screencasting, and actually it's the only thing that I don't like about this program, as its name is just too long for me. The rest is just fantastic. The program is fast, free, very easy to use. The interface is just really very simple. The editor is fantastic. The length of a video clip in a free version is limited to 15 minutes, which I think is fine to start with. You can use several annotation tools. You can add things to the recording. You can change, you can add narration. You can change the speed of and the volume of the recording. And you can also add music. You can see different types of music here. And obviously you can share it, you can share it via different platforms like YouTube, for example. You can download it in Google Drive or Dropbox, or you can download it also as an MP4. I mentioned that you can use captions in Screencast-O-Matic, and you will see it in the next part of this presentation. The captions were added automatically by the program. I didn't need to add my own transcripts, and there were only 4 or 5 mistakes that I corrected actually on the spot, so it's a really very useful feature of this program. Okay, so let's continue. Let's have a look at the potential problems. Well, some students can get bored, especially when the video is too long. So instead of one longer video, record 2 or 3 shorter clips, and if necessary, you will be able to combine them into one in the editor. Some students get distracted very easily. So maybe you should get them involved as much as possible. For example, you can add some interactive quizzes, ask questions, or add a voting system. Some students' study skills are not well developed, and they just don't know how to watch an educational video. So before you start flipping your class, make sure that your students know how to watch the video in a meaningful, engaging way. And again, you can ask them to take notes, to answer some questions, or add a comment. There will be students with no access to the internet, or no access to the appropriate devices. Digital poverty is a major problem, and it needs to be addressed if we want to live in a 21st century inclusive digital society. Well, what can we do? If you prepare a series of recorded classes or lectures, that wouldn't be a problem, as you can put the content on a flash drive or even a CD. Well, it gets a little bit more complicated if you record ad hoc clips, or if you record videos of ongoing content. But I think that most of our students will have phones. And if you share your videos on YouTube, you can easily send them via social media or WhatsApp, for example. And probably you recognize this type. There will be students surprised that actually you expected them to watch an educational video of some sort before the class. But this type of student will be surprised anyway by the concept of homework in a traditional classroom too. So again, maybe make a quiz, or ask them to bring their notes, but most importantly, keep them accountable. Maybe you should ask them to watch the content while other students will be practicing and applying what they learned at home in more practical ways. And finally, teachers themselves might be a problem, especially if they want to be too perfect. It's just a waste of time to spend hours on a short video in the hope that you will appear perfect. You are not, and your students know it, so don't bother and be yourself. Before I move on to another part of the presentation, I would like to say some words about another screencasting tool called Loom, a program a lot of you are already familiar with. Like Zoom, Loom has taken the educational world by storm, not only because it's simple, user-friendly, and very intuitive. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Loom team decided to give a pro version to teachers and students for life for free. In order to claim it, you have to set up your account with your work email, and that's it. And I won't be saying much because if you set up your account and go to my videos section, you will see how to use Loom folder with a lot of nice short tutorials telling you what you can do in the program and how to do it. So the best way is just to set up the account and dive in and practice. Obviously, you can record a full desktop or parts of it. You can record just the screen or screen the camera. And you will see that you can embed the camera as in a medium size, but if you want to mark your presence in a more obvious way, you can maximize it. So let's go to the small one. You can X out of it entirely, and that's it. So start recording, and you will be asked, obviously, if you want to record the entire screen or just parts of it. And let's finish it quickly. I want to show you now something that is really, really fantastic. It's the way you share your videos. So you are taken directly to the video. The only thing you have to do is to give your video some title. And if you want, you can download it as an MP4. You've got this little icon here. It's not a problem. As an MP4, there is also a nice call to action button or custom thumbnail and a set of emojis your viewers can use to give you feedback. And if you want to share your video, you just copy the link and send via email. You can also share this video via social media, or if you are using Gmail for communication, you can share it via Gmail. So I'll show you what's happening now. I'm gonna send it to myself, and you see that the video is already inserted. So you just click send, and here you are. So I would really recommend Loom for screencasting. So how can we flip our classroom? One way is to use a blank space. Let's watch a short video explaining what it is and how to use it.
BlendSpace is a super easy way to build lessons using a mix of online resources and your own content, and getting started takes less than a minute. All you need to start building rich online lessons is your topic. Let's make a lesson about the periodic table. Simply type your topic into the search box on the right, and BlendSpace will find videos, images, and other related content from a whole list of sources, including Google, YouTube, and Tez. Tez is a marketplace that helps educators discover free and paid teaching resources created by other teachers. Just drag and drop items from the results into your lesson. You can even drag files in right from your computer, or use the Add Text button to type directly into your lesson. The rich formatting options make it easy to explain advanced concepts to your students. Once you've collected some materials, you can give your lesson a title and label the individual tiles. And rearranging things is as easy as dragging them around. You can even add a quiz to your lesson with a single click. Add a question and a few multiple choice answers, and BlendSpace will keep track of your students' responses. BlendSpace also tracks comments, likes, and more, so you can evaluate student performance and engagement in no time. Creating a rich, appealing online lesson has never been easier. Get started today at tez.com/lessons.
You can share BlendSpace with your students via email. You can embed it in your social media. You can use it for flipping your classroom, but also for designing the whole lesson. You can collaborate with another teacher on one BlendSpace. But also, you might encourage your students to use BlendSpace for showcasing their work. The next way to flip your classroom is using WebQuest. A WebQuest is an inquiry-based activity where students are given a task and a list of online resources to help them complete the task. And it can be used in other ways as well, for example, for formative assessment. And because it can be a topic for a separate presentation, I decided to mention it only briefly. So there are 6 components of WebQuest. We need an introduction to capture students' interest, and the task to describe objectives, process to describe the steps, obviously resources, evaluation to measure the results of the activity, and conclusion to wrap it up or to introduce some extension work. And depending on the purpose of your WebQuest, whether it is a flip or a formative assessment, you will need to modify this model and adapt to your needs. You can share your your WebQuest with your students as an editable document. As for example, this one on crime that I made for my class. Or if you feel more advanced, you can create a website like this one created by Maria Moreno on slavery. You can see here on the left all the elements of a web quest and a task. So students will be preparing a PowerPoint or a photo story or a podcast. We have rubrics as well, but it is entirely up to you whether you decide to go for something like that, or and it all depends on the level of your class, the level of their study skills, and also how comfortable you feel with creating something like that. And finally, OER, another way to flip your classroom using the resources which are already available online, open educational resources, such as lesson plans, quizzes, audio or video files, images, text, you name it. They are freely available online for use, reuse, adaptation, and sharing, and you don't have to worry about breaching copyright. And I would like to show you a couple of platforms you can use if you want to flip your classroom. So the first one is Memrise, and it's a language learning app. You can learn different languages via learning through learning about history, geography, or art and literature. The next one is BBC Podcast, a great platform with resources, listening resources. Another one is TED Ed. You've heard about TED Talk. TED Ed is a platform with ready-made lessons that you can easily adapt and modify. And finally, Wikiversity, a learning community hub which is loved by some but totally rejected by others, so you would need to use your professional judgment whether you want to use it or not. You can see that it's got different languages here, and you just have to make your own decision whether you want to use this platform. So finally, screencasting. To record this part, I used a program called Snagit. Snagit is believed to be the best screen capture software on the market because it combines some of the best capturing and editing features in a very easy-to-use program. The best thing about Snagit is that it allows you to combine still images with video clips, which makes it a perfect tool for creating instructional videos made either from scratch or from inbuilt templates. Another interesting option is panoramic screen capture for scrolling windows or long web pages. And finally, creating GIFs from short video clips. Screencasting can be used for a range of purposes. It can be used to flip your lessons via recorded classes, lectures, or presentations. You could make instructional video clips explaining homework or giving instructions how to do something. It's also excellent for giving visual feedback, for supporting absent students, or giving short announcements. But also screencasting can be used by students themselves for showcasing their projects, for example. So which tools should we use? There are different types of programs available. We have desktop applications such as OBS, CamStudio, or Ice Cream, which will need to be downloaded on the device. There are web applications for which you will need to set up an account, such as, for example, Loom. And there are also extensions, small programs that add new features to your browser, such as Nimbus. Some programs offer only paid versions, some offer both. Some are really simple and unsophisticated and can be used just for screen recording. Others have more sophisticated features, such as editing tools, annotations, or drawing tools. So before you choose which tool you want to use, you need to decide what you are going to record and for whom. I don't have one favorite tool. For bigger projects, I use Camtasia, but for everyday communications or short explanatory clips, I use anything, Snagit, Loom, or Screencast-O-Matic. We know now what we want to flip. We also know which tools we are going to use. So is there anything else we need to bear in mind before we start? Let's look at the 3 stages: before, during, and after. If a clip is more than just a short announcement or feedback, we need to prepare some kind of outline, like a storyboard of what we are going to do, say, or show. We need to choose a quiet environment and good, reliable equipment, good quality headset and a microphone. Another thing is the screen. You need to declutter it and remove any visual noise. And obviously, you need to check the broadband. Before you click a record button, you need to decide what you want to record. Is it a full screen or just a fragment? Whether you want to embed a webcam or not. I'm personally not so keen on that, with one exception. If I'm recording a personal message for my student, or if the message is really important and I really want to kind of maintain a virtual eye contact, I always embed the camera. But the decision is yours. What else? We should give an overview of the content. Speak slowly. Pause if necessary, but remove any dead moments. And don't worry too much about not being perfect. And finally, keep it short if possible. What about after the recording? Again, it depends. No need for editing if you are sending just a short announcement. But if you plan to reuse the video or modify it in any way, you might think about trimming it, editing, or adding some music, for example. Maybe make it more interactive by using voting or nice mouse cursors, nice annotations, or a quiz. So flip or not to flip? I'm sure you already know the answer, so don't wait any longer. Decide what you want to flip, choose a tool, make a recording, share it with your students, then discuss the content with them, let them practice, whether it is face-to-face in a traditional setting or online. And finally, think about some nice, sustainable assignment or assessment. I prepared a special Padlet for you with the session in the first column. If you click, it will take you to the whole playlist with all the parts of this presentation. Part 1, definition, Part 2, advantages, then challenges, different ways of flipping. And apart from that, you can find videos and tutorials on Flipped Classroom, article, website. There is some nice stuff on screencasting, blend space, online whiteboards, open educational resources. So thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you have a moment, please visit my blog.